Welcome back to the Bloomington Breakfast Club. I'm Lydia Knoll.
And I'm Gabrielle Balanson. Get your Monday mornings started with us while getting all the latest updates on news, sports, culture, and entertainment.
Plus, don't miss our special guest later on in the show in honor of Homecoming Weekend. With Homecoming Week behind us, I think it's fitting to reflect on the annual homecoming traditions of Indiana University. Beginning on Thursday night, IU hosts the annual Glow Run, a 1.2-mile run around Memorial Stadium that leads participants down onto the football field for the finish. The Glow Run is ran at night in the dark, complete with glow sticks and neon lights, obviously. Each year, Indiana hosts a homecoming parade where various IU clubs, organizations, and teams march throughout campus interacting with IU students and Bloomington residents alike. This is a chance for members to show off their creativity in floats and costumes. The parade is then followed by the pep rally, arguably the best part of homecoming weekend. The pep rally is an iconic event of Indiana's homecoming where the cheerleading team, as well as the band, perform at the pep rally while the classic Our Indiana song rings out over Kirkwood. And of course, to top the weekend off is the homecoming football game, or at least tailgating for the football game, on Saturday. We hope that you had a fun and safe homecoming weekend and had the opportunity to enjoy some, if not all, of these exciting events.
Another fraternity kicked off campus. Sigma Nu was suspended from the IU campus by its national leadership because of hazing and alcohol-related events. Vice Provost of Student Affairs Lori Reeser released a statement saying, quote, "The Beta Eta chapter failed to implement agreed upon procedures and plans to ensure compliance with rules and policies during social activities and new member education activities," end quote. The chapter had been on disciplinary status since 2015. The chapter has been on campus since 1892, and IU's former president, Herman B. Wells, was a member of the fraternity. In other news, you can now nominate your best journalism professor for the media school's Gretchen A. Kemp Teaching Award. Kemp taught at IU from 1948 to 1974, and the annual award recognizes a teacher who has made an impact on students' collegiate life. The most recent recipients of the Kemp Teaching Award are Joe Coleman, Thomas French, and Craig Wood. The deadline to nominate your professors is November 3rd. Come along with me and the rest of the TBBC crew as we go to the Neil Marshall Black Cultural Center for the annual fish fry. Take a look.
Black Culture Center has been on the IU campus since 1969, and a part of our long-standing history has been getting our community together for just standard celebrations that are typical in the Black community and with Black families, one of which is actually a fish fry. We are having this one today, as we do every year, specifically at homecoming, because we also want to engage the alumni base and get our community together and just have fun.
This event is important because it offers a place for Black people, for Black IU alum, and just Black students to come celebrate together. And I think that an event like this is pretty necessary. It got an opportunity for myself to come back to IU, so I'm very thankful for that.
So it's kind of like you get a taste of the culture, you get a taste of the food, which is amazing. So basically it's just a big opportunity where we can all be one, especially what's going on in the world right now with all the hate and stuff. It's just like another opportunity we can get together.
I was like, Auntie, I'm getting drunk every day and I'm skipping all my classes. And she said, we are so proud of you.
It is now time for our 4 unnecessary updates of the day. What's the celeb world looking like, Gab?
So, Jessie James Decker and her 3rd pregnancy. Have you heard?
Can I just say that Jessie James Decker and Eric Decker are
perfect.
the cutest couple,
They're
arguably in the
perfect.
entire
They're
celeb world.
perfect. Oh, they're
Yes.
amazing, and they already have they have a little girl Vivienne, and then Eric Jr. is their little boy,
So cute,
and they're
so cute.
expecting a 3rd, so that's exciting. Their show, it's their 3rd season. Eric and Jessie game on E, so that just came out recently. So and then her album came out actually this past week.
She's
so
killing
she's
it.
just
I
all over the
know.
place in
While
such a
being
great way
pregnant.
while being pregnant. I mean, good
That's
for
the
her.
goal. I know.
So yeah.
Of course. Secondly, Taylor Swift's new app is set to release soon called the Swift Life. If you haven't seen, these are starting to become a thing. Russell Wilson released his own personal
It's
app
interesting.
that follows basically the daily life of their celeb world. And I don't know how I feel about that. What about you?
Yeah, I don't know, I don't see why they necessarily need to have an app. They have Instagram, they have Facebook,
Right.
it's just another thing to kind of have.
Yeah.
So,
Are you going to download the app?
I don't know. What about
I'm
you?
not.
Okay.
But I did download Russell Wilson, so I mean, I can't argue completely against them. But
Right. Something else that's starting to happen is the getting ready for the AMAs, the 2017 AMAs. The nominations were revealed actually on Good Morning America by Sierra. She revealed them. The AMAs, they're set for November 19th, and Bruno Mars has the most noms with 8. 8 nominations, and then he's up for some other exciting awards, which is, amazing.
Yeah.
I think he's great.
And right behind Bruno Mars, you have people like the Chainsmokers, Drake, Kendrick Lamar, Ed Sheeran, The Weeknd,
best.
all with 5 nominations each.
Yeah.
So
It's gonna
that's
be
a
a
pretty
good year.
even playing field.
Yeah.
They're all neck and neck, I feel like.
Yeah, it's been such a great year for music, I think.
It really has.
So-
Is there any of those that you feel like stand out of the ones with 5 nominations?
Oh yeah, I mean, I love Ed Sheeran. I think he's just great, and I think his album was amazing. So yeah, it's gonna be a good show.
I'm
excited.
Lastly, Riverdale is back. Season 2 is to did premiere this past week. I unfortunately did not catch it. I'm not a huge Riverdale fan, but Gabby, on the other hand, can speak more to that.
No, it's a great show. I watched the first season. I actually haven't gotten a chance to see the season 2 premiere, but it's a take on the Archie comics. So you have Jughead, Veronica, Betty, Archie, and it's a really great present take on these old comics.
Yeah.
You should watch.
So if you're into
I
that, be
recommend
sure
it.
that you catch it.
Oh, yes. And then if you tuned in to last week's episode, then you saw our new history pop culture segment called Avery's A-List. Avery, what do you have for us this week?
The recent sexual assault allegations against Harvey Weinstein, founder and former CEO of the Weinstein Company, have sent shockwaves throughout the industry. Weinstein, one of the most powerful men in Hollywood, has been pushed out of a company named after him and put in exile. While the results of the allegations are surprising, the allegations themselves are not. Weinstein has long been known as a sexual predator. It was a barely hidden secret. Weinstein and men like him are very common in Hollywood, and a culture of abuse and secrecy protects them. Men like Hugh Hefner, famous for being a face of cultural revolution and a playboy, Hefner was also a notorious lech, calling women at all hours, propositioning them for sex, taking advantage of young actresses, promising them roles if they have sex with him, and his friends, and sending extravagant gifts to women and to pressure them into sleeping with him. Men like Academy Award winner Casey Affleck was accused of sexual misconduct twice by different women and settled out of court an undisclosed sum of money twice. Men like Woody Allen, whose own children accused him of sexually assaulting minors, now gone so far as to demand emancipation from their father. Men like Bryan Singer, director of the new X-Men movies, has been repeatedly accused of assaulting underage men. There are numerous reports of people seeing high school-aged boys at parties hosted by Singer, as well as reports that accuse Singer of hanging out the freshman dorms of UCLA and USC, trolling for sex. The culture of abuse in Hollywood is pervasive, but not unique. Powerful men in all fields of work have used their power at one time or another to hurt the weak and the naive. This is a problem that is rooted in our culture, and as a whole, we must do the work to hold men like Weinstein responsible for their actions.
Thanks, Avery. We'll be right back after this with our very special guest. Stay tuned.
This is The Toss-Up, where we take a look at some of the topics facing the world of college sports and give a little bit of history behind some of them. We're not trying to change your mind. We just want to dive deeper into the topics that keep you tuned in to the teams you love. The Toss-Up, airing every Sunday during the 2017 semester.
Thanks for staying tuned with us here on the Bloomington Breakfast Club. Up next, we're headed into our weekly interview, this time with someone behind the scenes of many major IU events.
That's right. You probably don't consider who the mastermind behind IU's fireworks shows is, so today we bring him to you.
We'd like to introduce Tom Pitts, the Indiana pyrotechnic genius, as we'll call you.
Hello.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, glad to
We're
be
so
here.
excited. Yeah.
You've had a busy week with homecoming.
It has been, it's actually one of the busiest weeks we have here on campus. We do the Glow Run, not just pyrotechnics, but we provide all the technical support for live entertainment across the board. So it's lighting and a wide variety of special effects, audio, rigging, basically anything, production management, anything that's needed. So we set up the entire Glow Run, all of the black lighting and UV lighting and pyrotechnics. We did that all day Thursday. Friday, we were here for the world record event over at Woodlawn. There was the world's largest stop, drop, and roll. And we did some support for that.
So fun.
And then obviously the homecoming parade and pep rally. And then, of course, the football game on Saturday.
That's a lot. That
a
keeps you
lot.
busy.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Creatively, what goes into designing a pyrotechnic, plan for an event?
Well, it's here on the IU campus, it starts sometimes as much as a year in advance. I mean, we're always working very far in advance to try and be very unique. Obviously, safety is a paramount concern in the pyrotechnic industry. My company, it's been around for 27 years, Thomas James Productions. We have a perfect safety record. We've never had an incident ever in 27 years. Nobody's ever been injured, not even an employee. Everything's been great. So a lot of those factors come into, what are we going to do? What are we going to change? How creative can we be? So it's really about 75% science and about 25% art. So we spend more time on the 25% of art because you want to be creative. So we try and come up with different things and how can we come up with a different look to something and where can we place it. And then we go back to the science to say, okay, now how are we going to actually do that and implement that?
That's great.
When it comes to game day or an event day, what exactly are your roles throughout the day? What does that look like?
Well, so we have a team of about 12 people. Now we don't always have all 12 here on site for every event. We have had everyone here for this past weekend because of the large scale. Typical football game would have anywhere from 4 to 6 people. We get here about 4 hours in advance. Our setup is streamlined for, say, a football game because we know we're doing all of them, so we come here early in August and we preset a lot of things so that when we come here for game day, it's much more expeditious. It doesn't take us much time. So we leave things in place. There's truss and plates and equipment that is left in place, but we don't leave the actual pyrotechnic. We bring that each time. So that's never out of our possession, never out of our sight. So basically that's what we're setting up. And we're coordinating, we're working with IU Athletics on what is actually taking place that day. There's different events and different things for every game. So we tailor what we do to that game. So one game happens to be for kind of breast cancer. So we have a pink game. So we kind of change things for that a little bit.
That's so nice. How did you get into pyrotechnics? Have you always been an avid firework fan?
Yes, I have always been a fan. I kind of got into it sort of by accident. My original career, I was a magician.
Very cool.
Yeah,
That's
so I was a performer for 2 years.
Okay.
And And I honestly wasn't that good of one. And it just required a lot of knowledge about what takes place off stage, the lighting, the sound, rigging, special effects. I started designing my own illusions when I was a magician. And my middle name is James. That's why the company is Thomas James Productions. And when I was a performer, that was my stage name, Thomas James. So people around the country knew me as Thomas James. They didn't know my last name was Pitts. So when I stopped performing, I had other magicians ask me if I would create or build illusions for them, which I started doing. And then we added one little component, and then we started doing lighting, and then we started doing a little bit of pyrotechnics, and it just has developed into now we're this full service live production support company.
That's wonderful.
Awesome. So are you still working with some of those magician shows and stuff too, or have you transitioned almost entirely to doing the fireworks and
Oh
school
no, we do a lot. We do a lot of video production support. We do all of Duke Energy's corporate videos.
Wow.
We do commercials, feature films. We work in grade schools and high schools and replace stage curtains. What we do here on campus at IU is just one small aspect of what the company does. It's probably maybe 25% of what the company actually does. We do this countrywide.
Right.
But yes, to answer your question, we supported and had effects with Siegfried and Roy, who used to perform in Las Vegas, Lance Burton, who used to perform in Las Vegas. So we've had those clients have retired, but yes, we do still support that industry.
What would you say has been your favorite event that you've put on out of everything?
We have done the Times Square New Year's Eve ball drop. We've done that a number of times. We haven't done that in a couple of years, so we've done that a few. Yeah,
That's
so
so
it's
fun.
it's a very, very large event. Everybody knows it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not always worthwhile to do those. You basically have to kind of give it away in order to do it, but it looks good on paper, kind of thing. But it was fun. It's nice to be able to say that we did it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
It's so exciting.
What's just kind of a random question? If you had to pick one firework that was going to be your favorite, what's like your favorite kind of firework?
Ooh, that's a good one.
That is a good question. No one's ever asked me that. My industry is famous for using very strange terms. There's things like a gerb or a Saxon or a mine that most people, they have no idea what that actually looks like.
Technical fire network names?
Right. They're just, we don't know how those names ever came about, but that's what they've been called for 100 years. So there is one effect, it's called a high altitude mine, that we actually have used this weekend. We use it at every football game. And they go about 450 feet in the air.
Oh, wow.
Very visual, even during the daylight. It's a very, very nice, very fast, very safe, very clean. There's no fallout. There's very little smoke from it. It's a good effect.
Very cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
How
And
about
the
yours,
one-
Gab?
Oh, I don't know. My favorite? I love the ones the perfect ones. They're just like the nice,
Yeah.
what are those called? You know what the ones that are just
Chrysanthemum.
it has a name.
Yep.
There you go. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do.
The typical firework.
Yeah.
There you go.
those
I like the chandeliers. The ones that like fall
Oh,
down.
yeah.
Oh,
pretty.
yeah.
Those
Those are called
are
willows.
fun.
Willows?
Yes.
Okay, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Like a willow tree.
That's exactly right.
Fitting.
Like a chrysanthemum.
Yeah, most of the aerial fireworks that you see, like 4th of July, what your local municipality would do, most of those got their names from plants and flowers.
Very cool. So they do
Very
look like
interesting.
them if you think about it.
Yeah.
Peony, chrysanthemum, willow.
Cool.
Very cool.
Thank you
thanks
so
for teaching us a
much.
little bit
Sure.
about
Yeah, this
the
was really
firework
fun.
industry. Who knew there was
Yeah.
so much?
Congrats on a great homecoming weekend. Another successful
Yep.
one for
It
you
was
guys.
a great time.
So yeah, it's great. Thank you.
Thanks.
And thank all of you for tuning in this week to the Bloomington Breakfast Club. We, of course, love having you.
Yes, be sure to follow us on all social media and don't forget to use the hashtag #BeTownBeFast. Check back next week for another episode. We have exciting new guests and segments for you each Monday.
So we'll see you next week, Hoosiers.